This is John with Cruising Addicts, and we sailed on Carnival Paradise back in January of 2024. And we're going to give you our likes and our dislikes of this ship and experience. Starting off with what we liked about Carnival Paradise. For one, it's a small ship and it's very easy to navigate and get around. Most of the public space is located on decks 8, 9, and 10, so everything is really close together and laid out well. Carnival's fantasy class ships have really great designs and layouts, and everything flows very well and it's easy to navigate. On deck 10 you have your buffet and your food outlets such as Guy's Burger and the Blue Iguana. And you also have your pool there. You have a lot of your outdoor seating and lounge areas. And on deck 9 you have the promenade, you have your comedy clubs, you have a lot of your bars. There's quite a bit on this level also, including the casino as well. The second thing we liked about Carnival Paradise and this cruise that we went on was the food seemed much better in the buffet area than what we've experienced on previous Carnival cruises. The quality was much better, the food was warmer, the food was fresher, the service seemed a lot better than what we've experienced in the past. The third thing that we really like about Carnival Paradise is the fact that it is a fantasy class ship and they have these wonderful atriums. We love the atrium elevators, and this particular ship has a great atrium lobby just like the rest of them. There's only 2 of this class ship remaining, but that is one of the highlights of these ships. The fourth thing that we really liked about Carnival Paradise was that all of the public areas seem to be very clean and well taken care of from a cleanliness standpoint. We always saw staff members cleaning and everything looked really clean. The fifth thing that we liked about Carnival Paradise was the playlist production shows. They have an excellent cast that perform in these shows, very talented group, some of the best musicians and singers, comedians, and some of the best performers period that we have seen on any Carnival ship have been on this cruise and this ship, so I think you'll be very pleased with that. And the final and sixth thing that we liked about Carnival Paradise and this particular cruise was the cheap fares that we were able to book. This ship is the oldest ship in the fleet, and because of that they usually offer some very competitive fares for this particular ship, and you can snag up some great deals, and we did on this cruise, which was a very big bonus and plus. Now, before we move to our dislikes, and I'm sure there's going to be some people out there that will not agree with us and say that we're being too critical and too picky and all of those things. We generally see things as the glass half full and tried not to be very negative, but there were some glaring things here that we did not like about this ship, and probably would never sell this ship again unless it was a situation where it was too good to turn down. Dislike number 1 about Carnival Paradise, and this is nothing that against the particular ship itself, has nothing to do with the staff or crew, is the fact that there's only one pool and it's always overcrowded, but this is the same on all fantasy class ships, so it's nothing surprising. We went going knowing that this is going to be the case. We're not big about the pools anyways, but that could be an issue for some. The second thing we disliked about this cruise was the water shuttle experience in Grand Cayman. It was very obvious that there was a lot of new crew members on this particular cruise that were learning and had never either worked on a cruise ship or were just new to this ship. There was some miscommunications. We were one of the first shuttle pass groups. I think we were the 3rd group, and we got up very early, got in line to get our pass very early, and we were 45 minutes late arriving for our excursion that was booked an hour and a half after we were supposed to have been on shore. So it took us a long time to get on shore, and it was very unorganized and chaotic. Most of the staff had no idea what was going on. The third thing we didn't like about Carnival Paradise, and I think some of this goes back to the staffing levels, this ship seemed understaffed in some areas, and one area was the housekeeping department. It seemed like they were really stretched thin. We didn't get to see our housekeeper until quite a few hours after we boarded, and normally we see them right away as they're coming around introducing themselves. And this is no fault of theirs. I think this was more due to them being understaffed and overworked, but it was pretty obvious that they were understaffed. Our cabin was pretty clean, even though we did find an item from a previous guest on the floor. It was a very small item, but I would say overall it was a good job. On a scale of 1 to 10, the cabin cleanliness was probably a 7 or 8. The fourth thing we don't like about Carnival Paradise, and this is really limited to the design of the ship, but because it's smaller, there's a lot less outdoor seating as compared to a ship like a Spirit class ship. Sometimes it was hard to find seating on the ship, and it was very full. This was probably booked over 100% cruise, but that's one thing that was a negative, but it's expected on this type of ship and this small of a ship. The fifth thing that we disliked about this ship was the fact that this ship recently came out of dry dock in October of 2023, which was 4 months before our cruise. And even so, it seemed very tired and not as in good a shape as its sister ship, Elation. And we've sailed on Elation a few times, and it is immaculate compared to Paradise. It just, nothing the staff or the crew was doing wrong, but it just feels like Carnival has not paid a lot of attention to this ship in dry dock. There is some areas of the ship that seem very outdated, including the area that on Elation is the Alchemy Bar, and it is very outdated, as well as the theater. It seemed very old and outdated, very 1990s, and several areas of the ship seemed like they were original and hadn't been touched in many, many years. The sixth thing that we did not like about Carnival Paradise was the fact that the entire cruise, both of the atrium elevators were down and not working at all. They sat at the same spot they were at when we boarded, and they were there when we left the ship. This was extremely disappointing to us because we love the elevators in the atrium. It may not be a game changer for some people, but for us, we really disliked this, and it was very disappointing. The seventh thing that we did not like about Carnival Paradise, the fact that many new crew members were working on the ship, and it actually was confirmed to us by one of the crew that there was a big changeover on this particular sailing, and there was a lot of new people. No fault of theirs, of the staff members that are new, but it seems like the management and the leaders there wouldn't make sure that they're prepared and they understand what they're supposed to do. But it did seem like it was a lot worse than we've experienced in the past, and things did seem very disorganized, especially the first day or two. The eighth thing that we didn't like about Carnival Paradise, and this is something that really wasn't a huge deal to us, but it's something to be aware of, especially on this ship, or any ship for that matter. Our cabin E189, which was on deck 7, was in the rear of the ship, and it wasn't the entire cruise, but part of the cruise that we could hear and feel the engines running. There was a lot of vibration and some noise. It wasn't to the point where you couldn't sleep, but it was worse than we've ever experienced. And we did have some rough seas that may have had something to do with it. We have stayed in cabin E185, which is just a couple of doors down on Elation. Same deck, same location after the ship, and didn't experience any of this at all during our last cruise. The ninth thing that we did not like about Carnival Paradise, and this was quite surprising, I'm not sure if this ship has been upgraded yet. I don't think it has, but the Wi-Fi connection was absolutely awful. I couldn't even connect reliably to the hub app. It was the very worst experience I've ever had on a Carnival cruise ship. I couldn't check in for dining half the time. I would have to keep trying to reconnect. I couldn't browse anything through the hub app. It was to the point of almost being ridiculous. Pretty much the Wi-Fi was totally useless. This ship should be due to have Starlink, and hopefully that improves it, because the ships we have sailed on that have had Starlink are much, much faster. The 10th thing that we didn't like about Carnival Paradise was there's no Alchemy Bar. And Alchemy bars are a great place to go and have a drink, and they are really nice, and this ship does not have one. It's not like its sister ship, Elation, so just be aware. If you're looking for the Alchemy bar when you sail on this ship, there is not one. So the 11th thing that we did not like about Carnival Paradise is the very small Serenity area, and it's the same on Elation as well. It's tiny. We did not get to use this area at all. It was always super crowded, super full of people, and it's just tiny compared to the other ships that we've sailed on. Very limited seating capacity, and you're going to be disappointed unless you get there very early in the morning. Now, the 12th thing that we did not like about Carnival Paradise, and I hate to keep going because this list is getting very long of dislikes, but I have to be true and honest about this. The wait times for dining were excessive. Our first night checking in for the main dining room was a 90-minute wait. We decided to cancel that and just go to the buffet. It was always a longer wait than usual, 20, 30 minutes. And then when you get there, you're ordering maybe 20 or 30 minutes after you arrive in the dining room, and you're another 20 or 30 or 40 minutes waiting for your food. So it was a long wait. So I think the main dining room staff was very understaffed and overworked. They looked tired. Most of the crews, they looked overworked, and it was very disappointing, even though the food was really, really good, but the service times was very, very slow. Well, we appreciate you watching this video and our review of Carnival Paradise. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please consider subscribing to our channel and check out our website, cruisingaddicts.com. Happy sailing.